What's up, Lost Boys? Yep, it's that time of year.
You better be ready.
This is our 2017 Fantasy Football Draft Order video. Are you ready?
Final Fantasy Draft Order.
Final Fantasy Draft Order video. Banff League, rocking, I think we're going on 11 years now?
I don't know.
Something like that. I think it's getting close to double digits now, which is insane to say. So we're definitely getting up there. We're all getting old, but we're getting sexier as well.
And we're getting better at fantasy football, Josh.
Yeah,
Last season was crazy competitive.
Some of us are definitely getting better at fantasy football. I'll just say that.
Might not be.
So what he mentioned is 100% right, though. Last year was ridiculously competitive. We had, I think, 4 teams tied with 7-7 records to get into the playoffs. The only team that made it in was based on points. So every single week, every single point matters, guys.
And one thing that's always a trend with fantasy football teams that make it into the playoffs is being active throughout the year. Josh and I were talking. He was the champion last year. Congratulations, reigning champ.
Thank you, sir.
By the way,
thank you.
He only had one person or 2 people on his championship roster that he actually drafted on draft day. He made trades. He worked the waiver wire, and we see it time and time again. There's always people that break out. Dak Prescott, Jordan Howard, Terrell Pryor. Who else broke out last year?
You know, Rob Kelly was my starting running back on my Super Bowl team. Rob Kelly. Fat Rob is what they called the guy. But, like, those are the kind of pickups that aren't sexy, but getting you 12 to 14 points a week is going to get the job done.
And you guys just got to remember, as much fun as we had at the draft, it's one of my personal favorite days of the year.
Oh, yeah.
We got to, you always got to be working that waiver wire, working on trades, staying active in the fantasy football season, and it's going to be another great year.
It's going to be a phenomenal year. You know, last year was our first year we had Denny in the league. Denny, you kicked some ass.
Brought it.
You brought it hard. Your knowledge is definitely up there with all the best of us. You had some tough breaks. You know, AP, Des Bryant, first 2 picks kind of took dumps last year. You still were pushing to try to make the playoffs at the end of the year. So it was definitely a really fun year, and I think this year is going to be even better, even better. All right, so first, to start off this video, we're going to take a little trip to Cass's Corner.
Thanks, Josh.
No problem, buddy.
Yeah, as we were preparing this video, we wanted to talk a little bit about the coming season. One of the things I really wanted to talk about was the rookie impact that we might see out of the rookie players this year. Last year we saw Ezekiel Elliott do exactly what we thought Ezekiel Elliott would do. It was kind of a perfect storm of talent, opportunity, scheme. We saw guys like Jordan Howard come out of nowhere. Literally, I think he came from a cornfield somewhere.
Seriously.
And come in and make some big contributions.
I agree. I know a lot about football and college football. I didn't even know who Jordan Howard was.
No idea who he was, exactly. Now, I think quarterback we're not going to see much. It was kind of a weak quarterback class. Wide receivers, hit or miss. I don't think there's anybody that's going to blow up. But running backs, guys.
That's the big one.
You guys know how crazy I am about the NFL draft. This was by far the most talented running back class I've seen since I've been following football. I'm going to make a big bet here.
Big bet? I like Cass's bets.
I'm going to make
because I always win.
I'm going to make a statement that I think there's going to be 4 rookie running backs that finish in the top 25 at the position this year.
Four top 25, so I'm guessing you're thinking Fournette, McCaffrey, Mixon? You saying Mixon? And Kareem Hunt?
Maybe Mixon, maybe Hunt. I think Samaje Perine for the Redskins, if he gets a shot. There's a Jamal Williams up in Green Bay. If Ty Montgomery goes down or gets replaced, he's a converted wide receiver. There's just guys all over the league that are in a position where there is one change in the depth chart, where there's one injury away from them being a true fantasy contributor. So
I agree.
Keep an eye out on the preseason as this goes through to see who's getting touches, who's moving ahead of who in the depth charts.
Totally agree. The rookie running back class is definitely one for you guys to at least. I know a lot of you guys don't follow college football. Before the draft, just look a few of them up. It's going to help you out tremendously, especially with those top guys. You don't want to overdraft them, but you're also going to want a couple of them on your rosters, maybe.
Yep. Another thing I think we've learned over the years consistently is that quarterbacks, you don't have to go a quarterback early in order to win our league. As a matter of fact, I don't think the last 2 or 3 years any of the championship teams have drafted a quarterback in the first couple rounds. So I'm really interested to see, is this going to be the year where we have no quarterbacks in the first round? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he said it there. I've been saying it for years now, that taking a quarterback yeah, quarterbacks look sexy. They get you a lot of points. But the difference between an Aaron Rodgers, who you have to take in the first round, and a Jameis Winston last year, where I took in the 12th round, is, maybe 4 points a week.
Yeah.
Like, it's not worth it compared to a running back like Le'Veon Bell you take in the first round and a running back you take in the 12th round. The margin is much smaller, so it forces you to be able to wait later in the drafts. That's just my opinion, though.
So there is a point, though, where you see quarterbacks on the board, and the elite quarterbacks, Brady, Rodgers, maybe Matt Ryan, who knows, maybe Andrew Luck, depending on what his health situation looks like. Those guys put up ridiculous numbers, so you're going to have to take them at some point. So I'm really excited to see, is this the year? Do we pass on them in the first round? How many go in the top 2 rounds? It'll be really fun. And I'm sure one of you knuckleheads will pick them in like the 4th pick overall, but who knows?
I will say this, though. Like, the one thing, and I was going to talk about this later in the draft, but Cass brought it up, was the one thing about quarterbacks, most of the time, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, is they are safe picks.
Yep.
So if you look back at last year, if Denny, if Jace, Jace took Gurley, if Denny took AP, if either one of those guys would have taken an Aaron Rodgers or a Tom Brady, they would have made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because they would have had a guy bringing them points every week. That they not only did they not get that from Gurley and AP, but they were a lot of times starting those guys, and they were bringing turns every single week.
Turds, McGirds, even.
Yeah. The McGirds were hard,
Huge turds.
especially with Jason Gurley, which he's going to be pissed once he sees this. But that's the only thing. Let's say you have the 10th pick in the draft, and somehow people listen to me and Cass right now. They don't take a quarterback. You have the 10th pick, and Brady and Rodgers are on the board.
Take both of them.
If you take back-to-back quarterbacks, it may not be the best strat, but no one's really going to kill you because that's guaranteed almost 60 points a week on some weeks, and that's. I'm just saying,
Guaranteed almost
maybe
60
not guaranteed,
points a week
but
on some weeks.
but 50 to 60 points a week from 2 guys. Yes, there are going to be quarterbacks later that do something similar to that, but you're guaranteed, like you have the solid foundation to build your team around after that. So it's give or take some of it.
Yep, and this year we're in the top 6 picks are where we really want to be. If you're in the top 6 pick, I would expect some kind of trade offer, especially the top 2 or 3.
Yeah.
The comparative talent this year with guys like at the top of the draft, like David Johnson, Lev Bell, are just astronomically higher than everybody else. So that's
top 2. The top 2 picks, I think, give at least those 2 people, and this may be exaggerating, a 20% edge to win the championship over everyone else. If you can get Le'Veon Bell or David Johnson, and those have to be the first 2 picks, and if they aren't, then whoever doesn't take those 2
out of here
should be booted out of the league. David Johnson and Le'Veon Bell should be the first 2 picks. Those 2 guys alone bring such an edge over everyone else. And he mentioned the top 6. You have those 3 stud wide receivers that are probably going to go in the top 6 as well. But the top 2 picks, whoever gets those 2, I think more so than any other year that we've had, the top 2 picks benefit your team more than any other year ever. So that's, when we do our order here in just a second, that's going to be a big reaction. If you get those first 2, it's huge for your team.
So there's one top-end player that you didn't mention in the top 6. Brings us to the Fab 5. Talk about Zeke Elliott, Josh.
He has a nice transition to the Fab 5. We got 5 topics. Let's start it off with Zeke. I don't know if a lot of you guys have been following, but up until about 2 weeks ago, it wasn't the top 2, it was the top 3. Because David Johnson, Lev Bell, Zeke were the unanimous top 3 picks in every single fantasy draft. If you didn't take those guys, you were dumb. Well, now, with the suspension talk and maybe missing 1, 2, maybe 3, maybe even 4 I've heard lately, where does Ezekiel Elliott fall? Cass, in your opinion, if the draft was tonight, where would you take Ezekiel Elliott?
3.
That is a smart man. I agree with Cass. The reason so is, if you guys remember last year, Le'Veon Bell was suspended for 3 games. It was not a question. It was a certainty. When we drafted, we knew he was getting suspended. I took Le'Veon Bell as my first pick. He won me the league last year.
And guess what? He won the championship.
He won me the league. I got 44 points from him to make it into the playoffs, for Christ's sake. Ezekiel Elliott, Cass took last year, and he was dominant as a rookie. This year he comes in more experience. He's going to catch more balls out of the backfield. He's going to be dominant. Yes, he may miss a couple games. Go pick up Darren McFadden to cover those games. I wouldn't hurt his draft stock too much based on how many games he misses.
So let's say a suspension comes out and he for sure gets a 3-game suspension. Where would you take Zeke?
3-game suspension, without revealing any of my draft strategy.
You can pass on the question if you want.
Without revealing my draft, I'm still taking him 3.
I would too.
Got to take a 3. So the next thing I want to talk about was kind of transitioning from what Cass said about the quarterbacks is, we don't have to go over it again, but quarterback guys, it's super, super deep. It's solid, it's something reliable, but it's super, super deep. My opinion is wait on quarterbacks. You can get them later. Yes, we are in a 2 quarterback league, which changes everything. I get that. But 2 quarterbacks still is 24 of the 32 teams. You can still get Kirk Cousins, Jameis Winston. There are a lot of guys that I'm not going to mention that I'll be targeting later in drafts that I think are going to have a phenomenal year that a lot of people aren't even looking at. So, like a Kirk Cousins from last year, or Jameis Winston.
He's talking about Alex Smith, y'all.
Yeah, I love Alex Smith. He's like my favorite quarterback. So, just if you want to take one, I'm not going to hate on you. But overall, I think a better strategy is to wait on quarterbacks. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I think y'all should take quarterbacks only in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, I would love that as well. The third thing I want to talk about is need versus best player available. This is something that's really important for you guys to take a look at. That's why I always suggest going on, Fantasy Football Calculator before our draft, or go to Yahoo and do a mock draft. It's super important to know not just who's good, but where they're going to compare it to say, hey, do I take the best player available in the second round, or do I take a guy that I need, hoping that the guy comes back around to me? If you haven't done a mock before our draft, and I know that sounds nerdy and stupid, it's gonna hurt you.
Hey Tim, how many mocks do you normally do a year?
Too many to count.
Yeah, too many to count. That's what I thought the answer would be. But
Yep.
it is helpful. Practice by doing, and that's a really good way to draft with live people and figure out what the flow of fantasy football is like.
It makes a huge difference. The fourth thing I want to talk about, guys, is trades. For some reason, the majority of the people in our grade think trades are Ebola. Like, they think that it's a disease that you're never going to recover from, and yada, yada, yada. We've had maybe 4 trades over the last 4 years. There are some people that are up for trades, and there's some people that won't ever even talk about trades. Trades are not bad, guys. It doesn't hurt to even think about or offering a trade to someone. Worst case scenario, they decline it. Or best case scenario, they counter with something that benefits both of you guys. Last year, me and Romanowski made a trade. Mike Evans for Melvin Gordon. Benefited both teams, to be honest with you. Those kind of trades can happen year after year after year. You just have to be open to them. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm one of the folks that doesn't ever do trades because I get so connected to my players. But that's part of the fun.
Yeah.
I need to get better at that. And, if you're a smart trader and can package deals that benefit both sides,
Do it.
makes fantasy football more fun.
Definitely do it. Definitely do it. And the last thing, and Cass touched on this at the beginning of the video, is the draft is only 50% of the fight. You come in prepared, you do your best, but shit happens. I mean, it's the NFL. Injuries happen, suspensions happen, trades happen, weather happens. You never even know what's going to happen. Come in, get a good team, solid foundation with your team. Get some studs to build your team around. After that, you got to use the waiver wire. You got to pick up free agents. You got to study injuries. You got to understand what's opponents. Matchups are a huge issue in fantasy football, and you want to know. I don't think enough people look at divisions and defenses in divisions, and I don't want to give too many hints, but just after the draft, your job really is only just beginning, and keep that in mind. Yes, the draft is super important, and ridiculously fun.
And fun.
Yeah, ridiculously fun. But the season is a long, long season, and you have to basically check out everything every single week.
Yep,
So,
I agree.
all right, you ready for that time?
I listened to 5 hours of podcasts. 5 hours
What?
of podcasts today about fantasy football, so I'm ready.
Cass is ready.
I'm pumped.
And in case anyone's running before we get to the draft drawings, Labor Day weekend. I sent it on the text today. Saturday, the 2nd. Actually, have we decided where it's at?
I guess I assumed we were just doing it at
My
your
house. Okay, I just want to make
Josh's
sure.
house.
My house. That weekend. Packham's in town that Friday, so feel free. We could come up. We could have a nice, hangout night Friday night. Have some drinks, chill, have a good time. Wake up. We could do another football day. We could do spike ball. We could do anything we want. We'll have the draft later that night, probably 6 o'clock. We've actually been speeding up our drafts a lot over the last few years, so they don't take 5 hours like they used to. So put it on your calendars. If you are not there, I will kill you. So,
All right,
you ready?
we're ready. Let's do it.
All right. Here it is, fellas.
You're seeing this live.
Here
Am I
it
drawing?
is. You're
Are
drawing.
we doing 1 to 10?
No, first draw is first pick. Yeah, 1 to 10.
Yeah, 1 to 10. Okay.
All right.
The first pick.
This is a monster pick. I'm telling you
I'm
guys.
basically picking the winner of the league right here.
Oh!
Me, baby. Me.
Anyone else think that's a little fishy? Maybe he
Cheater,
curved his
cheater.
paper where he knew what it was like.
Nope.
Cass with the
Shit's
first
rigged.
pick. I think we all know where he's going with that
Aaron
one.
Rodgers, baby. Second pick is Justin
Oh, Barrett's! Barrett's in the playoffs last year when everyone was doubting him. He had a really, really, really good team. He had David fucking Johnson, who was a machine last year. He's gonna get either David Johnson or Le'Veon Bell this year, so he's gonna have a hell of a start with his team.
I actually think number 2 is the best pick of the draft because you get the scraps of whoever's left,
Yeah.
and you get one pick earlier. All right, pick number 3, also in the cream of the crop, goes to Patty Fathead. Number 3.
The Apex Predator. Pat has been bringing it the last 3 years. Super Bowl champion 2 years ago in the Super Bowl. Had the best team last year during the regular season. Like, he's on his A game, and he's going to get his choice between Zeke, Antonio, top wide receiver, another running. I mean, shoot, he could go McCoy again if he wants. Whatever
Aaron
he's thinking.
Rodgers. Gronk
Or-
even.
Gronk.
Okay, pick number 4
Carolina defense.
goes to Goss.
Fourth pick. The worst pick. What? In my opinion, I hate
That's
the
a
fourth
great pick.
Yes, the great pick's actually not bad. I can choose Antonio Brown if I want, or if no one wants to take a chance on Zeke, you could definitely go there. So it's actually not a bad pick.
I think that's a good pick.
Top 6 picks are really good
Cream
picks.
de la cream.
Cream de la cream. I will take the 4th.
Okay, pick number 5 goes to Ryan Llama Drama Cable.
Cable's been pretty good the last few years. He should have, if we're basing it on the playoffs, if he didn't switch his defense out, he would have beat me, and then he would have beat Pat in the Super Bowl. So Ryan's team is always really, really solid. He got 3rd place last year. I'm sure with this 5th pick, he's going to get another player to start his team off good.
Yep. 6th pick, last of the cream de la cream, goes to Jace the Face.
Jace. So this is going to put Jace in an awkward spot because we keep talking 6 picks. Now, in our opinion, like we said, David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell, Ezekiel Elliott, Antonio Brown, Odell Beckham, and Julio Jones. Those are the 6, right? Those are the 6, right?
Yeah, those are the 6.
Those are the 6, right? So Jace, I know for a fact, hates hates Julio Jones. And if Julio Jones is there, he ain't gonna take him. I know he's not. So here it is, guys. You're hearing it. This is my prediction.
Todd Gurley.
The first quarterback will go off the board at 6 to my brother, Jason Gossamy.
I think you should make a play for Todd Gurley at 6.
We will see.
That offense is going to rebound. Pick number 7 goes to Denny Two Shoes.
Danny! You know, I actually love this pick. I disagree with Cass. I think 7 and 8 are great picks to have because I think one of those guys from that top group are going to fall. And if they don't fall, you do get your choice of LaShawn McCoy. You do get your choice of the next tier guys. And then on the way back, you get another pick super, super fast. So I actually really like the 7th pick.
All right, pick number 8 goes to my man, Matthew Romanowski.
Romanowski, picking 8, the learning freaking computer. Matt brings it every single year. He's always staying aggressive. He's always wanting to know if he's texted me 3 times over the last 3 years about trades, so he's staying aggressive like that. And he always brings his little computer thing to drafts.
The learning computer. All right, pick number 9. We're down to 2. I'm just going to do both. Pick number 9 is Cal.
Got the last
Which
pick.
Cal and Tim.
Tim is
Rigged.
pick number 10.
We saved Tim for the last because he's always in last. That makes sense. And Calzone gets 9. Now, Cass is right. The top of the draft is the best to have in the first round. But this draft is ridiculously deep. There are a ton of really good players. The top 20 in this draft is stronger than any top 20 I've ever seen.
There's no bad position
Honestly,
in the draft this year.
to be 9 and 10 is a really, really strong part. Not just because you get 2 of the top 15 guys, but because the guys that you're going to get on the background, at pick 30 and 31 are
3, 4,
20, 22, 30 and 31 are really, really
Still
fucking
be
good
awesome.
guys. Really fucking good guys. So we're going to go over it one more time, guys. Cass with the first pick. Justin, 2nd pick. Patrick, 3rd pick. Josh, 4th pick. Denny, 5th pick. Jace,
You
6th
guys
pick.
already fucked it up.
Ryan, 7th pick. No, that's not right.
We'll confirm this via email. Can we like?
It's all right.
Whatever the order was first stands. We'll
Jason's 6 picks. So yeah, I think either Ryan or Denny. So either Denny or Ryan are flip flopped. But these last 3 are right. These last 3 are right. I think we Cass is its first year. He forgot to lay them out in order. He's still learning though. It's all right. Not a big deal. It's not a big
My
deal.
bad, guys. Whatever.
We'll confirm the order
is.
by rewatching the video and the text message I sent out later tonight with the video. But here it is, guys. That's our order. Okay, this is officially the beginning of the 2017 fantasy football season. I am so freaking excited. You ready?
Oh, I'm more than ready, you guys. Can't wait to see you guys all in about a month, and y'all better bring the A game.
Let's do it. See you guys soon.
See ya.